following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, and wild world to take back control of our personal choices, health, and freedom. I'm Nico Haan.
And I'm Paige Clarke.
Hi, everybody. It's a beautiful day today in downtown Clearwater, about 55 degrees, kind of cool, but it's going to be warm up to the 80s, I think, by Sunday.
But I'm not going to be here to enjoy
That's right.
it.
You're going skiing or snowboarding. What are you doing, actually?
Well, I'm going to Lake Tahoe.
Yep.
And that's my question. I asked everyone in the chat room, ski or snowboard? Actually, we're going with a bunch of pretty experienced snowboarders. I've skied a handful of times in my life. I'm pretty coordinated. I got it. But it's been quite a few years. And
well, I'm a skier. I was skiing when I was like 8 years old. So I'm an avid skier. I've done lots of stuff in skis, and I pretty much have stuck to skiing because of that, even though there have been a lot of gaps, especially the last time I went.
I like the idea that snowboarding.
But snowboarding is more instinctive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're sitting sideways, so you have a little bit more control, and it's more ab work, which is really cool.
I always wanted to be a surfer chick.
Yeah. Well, you certainly could do that.
Yeah.
You look like a surfer chick.
I'm gonna surf the snow.
Surfer primal.
And also, if I heard you fall a lot with snowboarding, and it could be.
Well,
but,
you fall a lot with both.
Yeah. And,
I think with snowboarding, you fall a little bit easier because you can get to your side a little bit easier.
And I'm a little lower to the ground anyway.
Yeah, so no problem. I think
what
I would do, my suggestion would be just take a day lesson.
Look at that. Well, I'm hoping he's a handsome ski instructor. I had a guy, one time when I went skiing, I had a guy, his name was Gunther.
Gunther. Yeah, he sounds like he's,
yeah, that was a fun memory. Okay, Jay says snowboarding less health danger. Okay. And other people have cautioned me that it's more dangerous, but you know what? I'm going to go out there and go with my own intuition.
Really, so staying on the slopes is the most important thing. Falling, these days you can buy padding for your elbows,
I went and got my ski stuff last night.
Yeah. So I'd say protect yourself. Especially.
I'm going to wear a helmet.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Snowboarding is essential.
Yeah.
And skiing, I think, is essential these days, too. So the equipment is getting much better. I noticed when I did skiing, the last time I had skied before this time, I had the normal skis and not the parabolic skis. And they came out at about the mid-90s, I think. But really big now makes it much easier to do your turning and stuff like that. You just use your hips, and you slowly go through a turn. It's very nice. You don't have to jump around as much. But
so wish me luck.
is cool.
I'm sure it's going to be fun. And if anything, I can get out of this little pollen because I'm having a little bit of reaction to the oak trees here.
Folks, please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. I have a new one coming out. I've done it already because I'm getting ahead of the curve. You're not going to be here next week. The weekend after that, I'm going to the Pan Ams.
I know.
So I'm going to be gone. So you're going to be lining up somebody.
That's right. I'm working on it.
And please get some Primal Edge, folks.
Yeah,
this is
so
really essential to your health. I recommend it highly. Paige and I both worked on this exclusively, and it's going to change.
It took a while, but you know what? We're very proud.
Yep.
And I've had quite a few people that are actually formulators look at our formula and say, wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff.
I've had the same reaction. No doubt about it.
We're gonna continue to educate you on why we chose this. It's there's so many great things, and you all know that my favorite product line is Premier Research Labs, hands down, for functional cell-resonant nutrition. And I wish I could have actually been in a situation that we could have private labeled something there. Maybe one day when we get really big, we can work on something else. But I tell you what, this is a great thing, and we're proud to see that so many of you are enjoying it. And
we noticed the increase in the orders.
And remember,
thank you so much. That's cool.
Tiger Dollars. I mean, Tom is so generous. He wants you guys to be healthy and wealthy, right?
Yes, right.
So.
And a question in the chat room: Are you married? No, you're single.
That's right.
That's right.
Love the wrinkle fixer.
Okay, I ran across this article. I think maybe even you sent it to me. How your thoughts become your destiny. Did you? Is that? You
Yeah,
sent
I
it to
sent
me?
you that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I did.
And it's this is really a subject that's important to me because I've kind of studied this. Most of my life, trying to figure out, how can I motivate myself? How can I de-stress myself? How can I take hold of my life when I have the burden of my own conditioning, which has got me where I am, and now I want to change? That's kind of the way I look at it, because here we are. It's like the crazy person.
Yeah, and let me
He's his thoughts are controlling his craziness or
Exactly.
bringing it out, but he's also wanting to be not crazy.
Right.
But can he ever do that through his own thinking? No, because his conditioning has made him this way.
I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a grandma now. I'm
Okay.
starting to be more philosophical, and I really want to try and teach truths and important values
Yes.
and things.
Yeah.
I love this. It's an unknown author. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions because they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. And I've always thought that that's a really powerful thought to share with people. And another thing is that, words are spelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spelling, like a spell.
Right.
They create a spell.
Yeah.
So we can
They certainly
really
do, because every word has an image, and that image is kind of your own image. Because if I say tree, your tree that you're picturing when I say the word and the one I'm picturing are not the same tree. It may not even be from the same continent. It may, it's just so our words create images, and those images are what we go by.
So George Orwell said, but if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. And this is really what the science of epigenetics, which I'm very into.
Yeah.
I don't believe that genes, I like to tell my clients, your genes do not control your destiny. Let's not live in fear. Let's not let the thought of fear overtake. Less than 1% of your genes are really hard-coded. They are actually soft-coded, and they are soft-coded by what you do, your environment, what you think, how you breathe, how you move, how you sleep, how you eat, how you drink.
Yeah.
So the science of epigenetics is pouring this out. And, whenever I post something like this, I have had some people say, well, that's putting the power in you, kind of questioning whether or not that is of a Christian orientation. I believe that Jesus said in the Bible, if you only had the faith of a mustard seed, well, the faith comes into the mind.
Yeah.
And maybe the mind and the faith is
I think we have a
taking that
caller
power.
on the line. We have
okay.
Tom on the line. I think let's go to Tom, and we'll continue
great.
this discussion. Hi, Tom. How you doing?
He's got some info on
Hey.
snowboarding.
Yes, I wanted to cast my vote for snowboarding.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. I did snow skiing through ninth grade and haven't touched it since, and I've never snowboarded, but in recent decades I've really enjoyed a lot of the skiing events in the Olympics and snowboarding events in the Olympics.
Yeah.
It seems to me with skiing, of course, Nico, you already talked about there's definite differences in exercise, and I'm big on doing it for exercise.
Right.
But in skiing, you've got 4 different foreign objects that you can get tangled up in. I've got visions of me and others, the skis crossing each other, and you tripping and breaking your legs and stuff. Whereas with the snowboard, you only got one object. So that's my reason why I vote for snowboarding.
Well,
I want to be back on Olympics.
That's the plan, and we're going with some people that are pretty experienced. I've already set myself up. I'm going to get some lessons. I'm going to be proud at whatever level I get to. I'm going to enjoy myself and get some great exercise and have fun.
That sounds good, like a good idea.
Great.
Well, thanks a lot.
Feel free to take some selfie photos or videos.
Oh, I will. I'll post them on Facebook and I'll tag you in them. How's that? So you can keep up on the progress.
Thank you.
I got a cute little.
Thanks so much.
I got a cute snow bunny outfit too.
Oh, I bet you do.
I went shopping last night.
Thanks a lot for calling,
Tom. He's always great to hear from.
Yeah. So let's continue with this, because it's very fascinating, and I've always thought, because we're trapped with words, and we hardly can imagine a thought without the word.
Yeah.
Because remember, before language, we just had the images, and animals do not seem to have, at least an extensive language. They have more of a, shouting and maybe expressing themselves through the emotion of the sound. rather than single words, although, that's being changed every day as, we're gaining more knowledge of how many different sounds that birds and dolphins and whales and everything have, and how far they actually travel, like elephants and stuff. They say they can travel their sounds that we can't even hear. Yeah, and
dolphins
the ultrasounds. Yeah,
fantastic.
And who knows what else is out there with the radar and all these different senses that can detect different colors and different lights. But I can't. It's hard for me to imagine without the word. Because sometimes the mind gets so busy. So I think truly sometimes the words trap us, and I think true intelligence comes from the spaces between the words. If we want to think of something completely new, we kind of have to do away with the word to let something new in.
Prayer is speaking, but meditation is listening.
There you go.
I think...
I think true prayer really was the listening to begin with.
Yeah, be still and know.
The control came with the other.
I agree.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but, that's the thing. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. And so
when they say they become habits, this is a great saying by Buddha. Everyone is gifted, but most people never open their gift.
Very true.
And, I took the course, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes,
which was a great course.
Stephen Covey.
Stephen Covey, and built on a framework like this, how you can take your own words and use them to become a better person, to become better at whatever you're doing, to get yourself more organized, to get yourself more wealth if you want. Whatever it is, it's going to sort of maybe section off your life in a more organized manner.
It reminds me a lot, with a lot of my clients in my empowerment coaching sessions, I say, be careful what you're saying, because your cells are listening.
That's right. And our mind really doesn't know the difference between our saying it or some other expert saying it.
Correct.
Because we think we're the great.
Right.
At least most people do. Or you switch it around the other way and you say you're no good. And then you keep saying it. Well, I shouldn't do that. I do this all the time, and all these negative things, and they really start to impact you, that you become that.
Yeah. So really, by what you think and take to make a sound, can really have a great impact on your outcomes. So I encourage people sometimes just take a few minutes and be real nice to yourself, and watch your words, and maybe when you have some quiet time in the shower, speak kindly to yourself. Encourage yourself with words of encouragement and building up, and your cells are good. And envision your cells, really loving that feeling, just like a child loves a praise. Just think of yourselves as all your little children, and they want that praise. Yeah,
and everybody's different. Here's a great saying, the shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Each of us carries our own life plan, which cannot be superseded by any other.
There's
very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Number here is 877-927-6648. Please pick up some Primal Edge to increase your health, chances of just living a lot healthier. And please pick up a Health Signals newsletter. $10 a month gets you 2 issues a month that come on the first and third Friday of each and every month. So, Paige, it's a good thought. But thinking is not everything. So let's pay attention to the little quiet times, too, because I think that's important. De-stress a little bit.
Let's think right, but let's also take right actions.
We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Hey, and welcome back. I'm Paige Clarke with Nico to Haan. We're living a primal lifestyle, and we want to help you do the same. It looks like we've got a caller on the line. We've got Pat from Massachusetts, and we have a question or comment about addictive foods. Are you there, Pat?
Yeah, hi. How you doing today?
Hi, doing
Pat.
great.
Yeah, there's a new article that came out. I don't know who this guy is. Brett Arends. I don't know if you know him. Arends.
I don't know him.
Well, anyway, he's talking about a study that just came out from New York Mount Sinai Hospital, and they're finding out that processed foods are more powerful than your willpower, and they can become just as addictive as alcohol and cocaine.
Yes, and we've talked about this quite a bit because, of course, all the grains are highly addictive. They have almost like a morphine kind of quality. In fact,
absolutely do.
It's
have a chemical that breaks down into a morphine-type chemical.
Also, when you even just like taking some nice peanuts or taking some almonds or anything, adding salt and things like that to them, that's kind of a process. So anytime you change the food, you're making it so it's going to be consumed more. Mm-hmm. If you take nuts that are just raw and not processed at all, not even added any salt, you're going to find that you're not going to eat that many of them. Mm-hmm. It's the processing that changes them.
Right. They found out that naturally occurring foods weren't addictive, and they say you've got to get all these processed foods out of your system and out of your diet, or you'll really never be able to lose weight. In fact, they did a study with some rats, and they found out that about a fifth of the rats would even tolerate increasing electric shock. They had to go across this electric panel. And they tolerate that to get to the candy, and they got anxiety and aggression and withdrawal symptoms if they couldn't have the food they were addicted to.
Yeah, in fact, I saw a little special on CNN that, cocaine or sugar was just as addictive as cocaine, and they mentioned all these facts. You're right. It's what's happening with our food, and, as the fast food companies entered the picture, that's what really started changing, because they were looking at better consumption of these foods, not at the health standpoint of them.
They're looking at better consumption so that they can make more profit. And probably, Pat, when you saw this article, it was no surprise to you, because I'm sure you probably tune in, and that's what we are all about. A lot of people think that we're talking about a paleo or a primal. We got to get in there somewhere. We're going to talk about a ketogenic diet, all in the same family. What we're really all about is returning to a more wild life where we ate foods that were not processed, more like our ancestors.
And look at it another way, too. It makes more sense if you take good food and you process it, it would be more expensive. But most of our processed food is a lot less expensive, which means that the quality isn't in there to begin with.
Yeah, we like to call it food like merchandise.
Yeah, and that's the other side of the page, in a sense, that you have the processed foods, that's the addictive, but it's also really crappy food to begin with.
Right. They go on to say that the least likely to be addictive are low levels of fat and low glycemic load, meaning the low glycemic carbohydrates. But it doesn't sound that they went on to test high fat with low glycemic food, low carbohydrate food.
Yeah,
they didn't do that combination.
Right, and certainly they didn't test the fact where you have high quality fat. When you have an animal that's grazing its own food, it has a lower fat content, and that fat content is much healthier because it's mostly a really good balance of omega-3, omega-6. When the other, when they start eating grains and things like that, now they up the fat, and all that fat is omega-6, which is highly inflammatory. So this is really what they haven't shown yet. But the studies that have shown the difference, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that when we talk about a ketogenic diet after the break, it's the high-quality foods that give you this.
Mm-hmm. Pat, there was a study called the China study, which a lot of vegans and vegetarians cite. It more or less condemns animal foods as the cause of heart disease and all of these things. Again, a perfect example of course, any diet that doesn't have processed foods and so forth is going to improve health outcomes. But that diet was using meats that are factory farmed, and we are not advocating eating factory farmed meats.
Certainly not.
Because they are, as you said, eating the wrong foods. We want to suggest healthy animal foods, proteins, and fats that are healthy animals eating their natural wild diet.
Yep.
But thanks for sharing that article. That's exactly right up our alley.
They're coming around more and more to your way of thinking.
Well, I'm glad they're listening to our show.
And thanks for calling, Pat. I really appreciate your call.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Care now. Yeah, it's really opening the eyes to a lot of people, I think, and it's not so hard to make the change, but you have to really pay attention to certain parts of it. So let's continue this journey here, and the number here is 877-927-6648.
Let's rewild ourselves.
Let's rewild ourselves.
I like
that's
it.
For sure. Yeah, get away from this domestication, because that's no good. And you can start by getting some Primal Edge, folks. We'll be right back.
See you after the break.
You've heard Nico de Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter our TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. We want to talk a little bit about ketogenic diet, and most people are aware that ketogenic diets offer a plethora of health benefits.
That's what we're finding out.
That's right. Among the ketogenic diet's best properties are its anti-inflammatory effects. However, despite the emerging popularity of this diet, the scientific community is still relatively uncertain about the exact beneficial mechanisms behind this dietary approach. Recently, however, a new study was published which looked at the potential mechanisms underlying the specific anti-inflammatory properties of the ketosis.
And for some of you that are not aware of what a ketogenic diet is, I know it gets a little confusing. We're talking about different diets, but specifically, a ketogenic diet is one in which it contains very little, if any, carbohydrate at all, including vegetables. A classic example of this is seen in the Inuit people. The Inuit people are populations of indigenous people living primarily in Canada, Alaska, and Greenland. And one of the more famous stories involving these populations was a Dr. Vilhelmur Stefansson, who actually went and lived with these people and ate nothing but meat for 1 year after being inspired by the living of the Inuit. And
by meat, he means fish and blubber.
And he saw their remarkable low rate of disease. And despite the controversial diet of nothing but meat, whether it came from fish or other sources, he saw no ill effects. From a year on any all-meat diet with basically zero carbohydrate, he consumed no vegetables. But it's worth noting that he also became very ill when he consumed only low-fat meat and nothing else. When he added the fattier meat back, he immediately thrived and felt better.
And this is something that, of course, our culture is not used to adding fat in. We're used to taking fat out, whether it's in the manufacturing process or at home trimming the meat that we have. What we do discover when we start, eating this way is that the fat is the fuel. And that's the most important part. That's what makes you satisfied. The protein without the fat doesn't taste as good.
Yeah, let me go over a couple of things that people see. Some of the reported benefits of a ketogenic diet. And they're not limited to, but, you have less hunger while dieting. We talk a little bit about starting our day with Primal Tiger Brew, bulletproof coffee, that high fat, that satiation.
Or bacon and eggs.
Yeah, or bacon and eggs, correct. We're having that high fat content. Improved cognitive function in those who are cognitively impaired. We know the stories, we talked about it last week, about the doctor here out of Spring Hill who reversed her husband's Alzheimer's with coconut oil. Those brain cells need that fat. Improved LDL cholesterol levels, improved weight loss, improved levels of HDL cholesterol. And this is in addition to anti-inflammatory.
And that's the biggest thing there, the anti-inflammatory properties of a high-fat diet, a ketogenic diet, good fat, of course, we're talking about. And I noticed that within a couple of weeks that my hands weren't hurting as much, the arthritis, and most of my little aches and pains went away that I don't contribute to exercise or jiu-jitsu and things like that, the normal buggy things that keep you up or wake you up. It kind of goes away.
Well, you guys, there's a lot of research on this, and folks, you ran into a nurse practitioner who's doing PhD researcher who's doing a lot of work on the ketogenic diet for cancer patients. I think you're going to see more and more that again, ketogenic being in the same camp as a paleo and primal diet, with the energy source being primarily fat.
Well, this was written, of course, by Dr. Casey Thaler, but it was suggested by Dr. Cordain from the Paleo Diet itself. He asked, could it be that simple? He says, possibly, though there is certainly likely more and more to be more scientific discoveries related to the beneficial effects of this specific dietary approach. Moving away from glucose and instead utilizing ketone bodies as a source of metabolic fuel results in many profound changes, of which we are only beginning to scratch the surface of scientifically. And he puts it scientifically there because the paleo community has kind of got on the bandwagon and has reiterated this fact that, yes, it's anti-inflammatory, yes, you don't get hungry, it's much easier to lose weight, you don't have to count calories, you're actually getting your body into a healthy state where it can start really paying attention to some of the other functions in your body that might need some attention. Specifically, folks, things like cancer, things like autoimmune disease, which probably isn't really a disease, things like lung disease, and things like protecting your bones and getting them stronger. Now your body doesn't have to get rid of all that sugar and starch that a high carbohydrate diet does. A plant food diet also produces this, unless you're very, very careful.
It just makes great sense, folks. And for those of you a little techie like me and want to understand how this works, tying it back to what I always tell you about epigenetics. Epigenetics meaning above the genes, what's happening metabolically. This research is looking specifically at a ketone metabolite. That's another word for just a breakdown from the fat, a ketone breakdown. And it's beta-hydroxybutyrate, more or less. And it seems to inhibit the NLRP3 inflammasome, okay? A gene expression.
Yes.
And what we're seeing is this gene, when it's inhibited, we have protection against obesity and inflammation, insulin resistance, and so it makes sense. It makes sense that we want to inhibit the expression of it.
Because our bodies have a natural, innate desire to be well balanced and to be of the proper weight where you can move around easily and to have just a certain amount of fat so we can survive perhaps for days on end without having food.
Yeah, it's like they say, could it be that simple?
Yeah,
could it be that
it is
simple?
that
That
simple.
if we just returned to real food,
because I used to be a maniac when I didn't go without food for
when you were a carboholic.
When I was a carboholic, yeah, exactly. I mean, the 4 hours go by, and that I'd have to have something every 2 or 3 hours. And at the fourth hour, I was nuts. And now I'm a calm, nice guy.
Right, and you still see a lot of people out there in the blog world talking about eating 5 or 6 small meals. I mean, those are people that are still using carbs as energy. And I'm not saying that I don't think there are some good, well-placed carbs. I'm waiting with bated breath for Dr. Marshall to release his book, The Biofuel Diet. I hinted at it a couple of times ago. It fits nice. It actually does have some great research on well-placed carbs or fruits, but not until after about 2, 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Confetti Wars is asking how about nice fat from a fresh coconut or avocado.
Exactly.
Certainly, yeah.
I love it.
And if you're lucky enough to live in areas where these things actually grow, it's probably better for you.
Yeah, if you have your own avocado tree like I do in my yard.
Avocados and coconut probably don't mix too well with when the snow's on the ground and it's 30 below. I mean, yes, you can eat them, and they certainly supply some good fats for you, and maybe some good carbohydrates that don't really inflame your body that much. But that food source is really not available unless you ship it hundreds of miles. So to me, that doesn't make sense. I think eating locally and eating seasonally. Does anybody know really what the season is for the coconut? I mean, maybe they're not around all year. They're green for a long time.
Well, there's a lot to be said that all of these lifestyle changes and things that we do are all about layering and, what works for you and what resonates with you. Because if you believe in it, what did I tell you? If you believe it, you can achieve it. If you believe it's a powerful thing for you, it usually is. And, it can become that.
Yeah.
I'm not really so much into arguing what's right or wrong, whether it's a coconut or an avocado or a piece of steak. What I want us all to agree on is that this packaged frankenfood. I was in the grocery store the other day and I saw this young mom. She had 2 kids. They were very antsy and grumpy and crying, whining. And I looked at her cart and there was not one bit of real food in there. Yeah. It was all packaged frankenfood. And that's what we need to join together and turn away from.
And this is, you put it, right, that we're not interested in other words, if you're eating unprocessed food, if you're eating locally and seasonally, I don't care what you're eating. You're going to be healthy.
Exactly.
So, just put that in mind. If it's unprocessed, if it's local, if it's seasonal, it's probably good for you. And if it tastes good, then it's good for you. If it doesn't taste any good, you probably, if you
But you're talking about the coconut oil in the season. Well, quite frankly, you have coconut oil every day in your coffee.
Through the MCT oil.
Well, through the MCT oil, which is a fraction of it.
We're in modern times. We got to use what we can use. The foods from 10,000 years ago or 30 or 50,000 years ago isn't around anymore.
Guys, it isn't.
What we're just trying to do is use this as a guide because we know our bodies were made to consume these wild, sustainable, local, seasonal foods.
And
we know this for a fact.
And we were supposed to consume these wild, sustainable foods, products of nature, and we were to find all of our nutritional needs, but our soil is not the same. And research came out in 2005, now that's 10 years ago already, that between 1980 and 2005, the American food has lost 50% of its antioxidant potential, guys. Yeah. If that's not enough reason to understand why we're seeing the incredible increase in disease, because all disease is related to nutritional deficiency. I'm sorry, it is. It's just a fact. And the best place for us to get is our food. But unfortunately, even the food, and particularly food from America, is just not producing the food that we need to stay healthy.
This is from Dr. Cordain. It says, data from our laboratory indicates that modern diets based upon the Stone Age or hunter-gatherer food groups, fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, grass-fed meats, organ meats, fish, seafood, free-ranging eggs, and nuts are incredibly nutrient-dense and far surpass the DRI of government regulations for the 13 nutrients that are lacking in the U.S. diet.
Yeah.
There's a few things that he does mention that we need to kind of supplement. Most Westerners, particularly those living in northern latitudes, do not receive sufficient sunlight exposure for the required D3.
All right, let me make a comment there.
Okay.
Take a line from LA across the United States that hits about Atlanta. If you're above that line, you do not get enough solar sun, except maybe at the 2-3 months in the summer, to produce vitamin D.
Yeah.
So for primarily all the other rest of the year, you really need to supplement. And what we've found out in the biofield research group, quantum reflex analysis, is that most people over 35 or 40 have such stagnant gallbladder, liver health, from all the toxic fats we grew up on before we got wise, okay, that they cannot metabolize the vitamin D. That's why we're seeing so many people that are not getting the result of their vitamin D levels raising. So we have a little trick that we suggest people take their vitamin D in a little shot glass of water and use essential oil of orange, which, as you know, I like that. You know, I like that. So you can take that and put in a little shot. You'll see the fat globules of your vitamin D micronize. And then you take it, and we see much better absorption, much better results. So.
The other thing he says is that hunter-gatherers' ancestors consumed the entire carcass, the brains, the liver, the marrow, the gonads, everything, and we don't do that anymore. So supplementing with a fatty acid, omega-3 fatty acid, EPA, specifically DHA, would be recommended as a supplement. And people who practice a vegetarian or vegan diet for long periods of time will certainly be deficient in a wide variety of nutrients. And, we can go into that more if we need to. But
one thing, a lot of you guys that are vegan or vegetarian, I really want you to know that it's very hard to get the adequate amounts of
K2?
K2 fat, so, because a lot of that's most found in animal foods, although fermented natto is a good source.
And this is really why
and B12, guys,
our
B12.
ancestors did things to their foods to make them so they're digestible. It's kind of like the Mexicans, they used to take their corn and ferment it.
Yeah.
So we don't do that anymore. So these are important things to remember when they switched over to these types of foods, like the corn and the wheat and things like that, especially corn. It's a very hard to digest product unless you ferment it. Many people have problems with it. Wheat has that same property.
Well, it's because the crop has changed.
And the crop has changed. That's another thing. So, these are things that you have to realize that, of course, we talked about the processed foods that are really, really bad, and the number one, of course, is sugar, and the next things are all the cereals and the breads and things like that. If you're a vegetarian, you need to stay away from those things and go to more whole foods, because those are highly processed foods. And then, of course, the vegetable oils, the other culprit in the closet, which they're not really vegetable oils. I don't know how they get away with still calling them vegetable oils, because they're mostly made from grains. Or beans, which is even
exactly.
Yeah.
Or
so
crop
it's a discovery that you have to make, and I think I've pretty much nailed it for myself. And it seems like you've done a really good job of, sticking to what you know is healthy for you. And that is what's going to get you out of the general population of the United States. If you want to go to an airport or go to a mall and see the state of the people and their health, that's where to look. Or even go to a doctor's office and see who's sitting there. And these people are sitting there, it's a sad situation that, we have 60% of our people that are just not in good health.
We got to take our health back, guys. That's what we're all about here. We're just saying, we're not saying we're right, we're not saying we're wrong, we're just saying let's take our health back. When we get back, why is my jaw shrinking? Dental problems of a Western diet.
Is it showing somewhere?
Yeah, this is going back to my favorite guy, Weston A. Price, and we're going to talk about it when we get back.
All right.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, Tigers and Tigresses, and we are talking health. Why is my jaw shrinking? Dental problems of a Western diet. Folks, if you've been watching our show for a while, you know I'm very passionate about the research of Weston A. Price.
Yeah.
He was a dentist in the early turn of this century he paid attention. He had his eyes wide open, and he noticed that his patients' jaw structure and their dentition and their dental health was going down the tubes. You know, for 200,000 years before grain agriculture, the human jaw and the size of the teeth were basically static. And however, for the last 10,000 years or so, which coincides with the advent of agriculture, the width, length, and shape of the human jaw has been decreasing and changing slowly, while the size of the teeth have changed very little. So what's going on, guys? You know, although genetics play a role, but it's
Definitely.
what? The epigenetics. It's the environment
switches on and off, for
that
sure.
causes our expression to change. And the environment has been the dominant contributing factor to poor jaw development. And there seems to be 3 major external factors that are causing this: the size and shape of our jaws. 2 are the result of the onset of agriculture. But the more recent factors are the result of how babies are fed. They are a decrease in nutrient-dense foods, an increase in soft foods, I call that the food like merchandise that's all in the jars ready to go, and a decrease in breastfeeding. Now, let me tell you guys, I have a colleague, I'm hoping to have him on as a guest. His name is Dr. Roy Dittman. He has a fabulous institute called the Brighton Baby Institute, How to Raise an Extraordinary Child. If you have a friend, if you are considering having a child, if you have a child who's getting ready to have their child and make you a grandparent, run, don't walk to the Brighton Baby Institute and get involved in his parent training. I liken it to when traditional cultures would take the young people of the tribe and isolate them and feed the woman healthy fats, you know, roe, eggs, fats, dairy, whatever, to make sure that they produced a healthy offspring for the tribe.
Yeah, and
so Brighton Baby Institute, check it out. I hope to have Roy on the show soon.
Yeah, and you know, I was doing some research through anthropology. I listened to some Stanford professors there, and one was talking about how the different species of humanoids got a bigger brain, and that shrunk their jaw. But he said it pretty much stayed for about 200,000 years. And Homo erectus and our direct ancestors pretty much stayed the same. And then at the advent of agriculture, our brains actually got a little bit smaller, and that helped cause the whole thing to kind of collapse in. And then, of course, the less nutrient.
Well, what's happening is that the grains are inhibitors of minerals, and the fat-soluble nutrition is responsible for how we cleave our minerals. As a result, the jaw lost its vitality.
Yeah, think about it. You're diminishing the fat, which carries it in there.
Not having to chew as much.
And not having to chew so much, and then your bones are getting more brittle, so they just get smaller and smaller. It just makes sense too.
You know, again, the dental industry, the orthodontia industry has actually benefited by ignoring this information. You'll run into some traditional dentists and you'll say, what do you think of Weston Price? And they'll go, who's that? Because his work and his research was so buried. But it's so critical. The beauty of the people when your jaws are beautiful, you know, I'm sort of being like that.
Well, if you look at the Philippine islands, you know, those people there, all the island people, Java and the Philippines and
beautiful
Polynesia,
teeth, no decay.
American Indian, when we first arrived, before we started feeding them our food.
Exactly, look what happened.
Yeah, and that was still pretty decent food compared to modern day. I mean, 100 years ago, or even 150 years ago, we were feeding the Indians basically what we're giving our children today. And look what happened to them. So danger zone, I think. Thanks for sticking around, folks. We'll be back, or I will, next week, and Paige in 2 weeks, right?
Yep, I'll see you after the ski adventure.
I don't want to see any casts or anything.
No, I have none planned.
All right. Thanks for sticking around, folks.
All right, love you guys. See you next time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.